Got a minute? Buckle up because we're about to dive into the wild and wacky world of chemical transportation. You might think it's all serious business, but trust me, there's plenty of room for laughter on the open road. Let's laugh at some hazmat hijinks on the road. Picture this, a convoy of trucks, each carrying hazardous materials. But the drivers? They're the real characters, finding humor in the most unexpected places. Transporting hazardous materials is no joke, but truck drivers? They find the funny in everything. From the moment they hit the road, it's a comedy show on wheels. These drivers have seen it all and live to tell the tale, often with a hearty laugh. Picture this, a trucker, desperate for caffeine, spills his morning coffee all over his hazmat training manual. It's a scene straight out of a sitcom. The look of horror on his face quickly turns to laughter as he realizes the irony of the situation. Talk about hazardous caffeine levels. The manual, now soaked and unreadable, becomes a running joke among his fellow drivers. They tease him about needing a hazmat suit just to handle his coffee. And then there's the classic NBC suit struggle. One driver couldn't figure it out, tripped, and toppled an entire safety cone display. It was like a scene from a slapstick comedy, with cones flying everywhere, and the driver sprawled on the ground. He laughed it off, saying he'd become the hazmat hazard. His colleagues couldn't stop laughing, and the story quickly became legendary among the trucking community. Oh, and loading mishaps? They're a goldmine. One guy attached the wrong hose to an ISO tank, causing a harmless but colorful spill. The vibrant liquid spread across the ground, creating a rainbow of chaos. He called it his artistic take on chemical distribution. The other drivers couldn't help but laugh at his creative spin on the mishap. It was a mess, but it was a beautiful mess. Bet that wasn't in the training manual. The driver, now known as the artist, became a bit of a celebrity among his peers. They even started adding humorous notes to their own manuals, inspired by his colorful mistake. GPS fails are another story. One driver ended up in a dead-end alley, smack in the middle of a small-town festival. The narrow streets were packed with people, and the truck was stuck like a fish out of water. Locals cheered as he tried to maneuver his way out. It was like an impromptu parade, with the driver as the star attraction. He waved and smiled, making the best of a tricky situation. Talk about unintended parades. The driver eventually made it out, but not before becoming a local legend. The festival goers talked about the parade truck for years to come. Then there was the oil spill cleanup crew dressed in mismatched uniforms. One guy slipped and slid in the oil so much, they started calling him Captain Slippery. His antics provided endless entertainment for his colleagues, who couldn't stop laughing at his slippery misadventures. And let's not forget pandemic protocols. One driver wore a Halloween mask instead of a pandemic mask at a truck stop. The sight of a trucker in a spooky mask was enough to make anyone do a double take. The cashier's face? Priceless. The driver, completely unfazed, went about his business as if nothing was out of the ordinary. It was a moment of levity in an otherwise serious time. Finally, the classic stuck-in-the-mud story. A driver took a shortcut, got stuck, and had to be rescued by, get this, a mini truck. The sight of the massive truck being towed by a tiny vehicle was both hilarious and humbling. He's never lived it down. His fellow drivers still tease him about the day he was saved by a mini truck. It's a story that never gets old. So next time you hit the road, remember, it's not just about the destination, it's about the laughs and stories along the way. These drivers prove that, even in the world of hazardous materials, there's always room for a good laugh. Like, subscribe, and drop your own funny trucking tales in the comments. We can't wait to hear your story.